SHFiguarts.
Today we're going to be talking about the Bandai Tamashii Nation's SHFiguarts Ultraman Trigger Multitype. SHFiguarts have delivered their trigger, and he is just lovely. From his Tiga colors to his ornate chest, wrist, and shin pieces, even to his freaking eyes. Trigger is amazing, and is easily one of the best figures released this year that I actually bought. Yeah. But up first, let's talk about Trigger's box, because it is lovingly simple. We've got the violet as the main color of the box, and we've got some images of Trigger strewn about. Bandai Tamashii Nation's quality stamp of approval, to which I will say, for the sake of sakes, is absolutely overflowing with this figure. Oh yeah. And we got some stuff on the box, talking about the molding, how movable it is, Bandai spirits, blah 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 blah. Simple and easy to follow instructions, and a warning about things rubbing off. And then on the opposite side we get all this. Accessories! Trigger comes with 2 color timers. One normal, one low energy. Blue and red. He also comes with open battle hands, relaxed hands, Zephyrian beam hands, and flying hands. Don't hate me, please. They really didn't specify which hands were which, but like any good figure with a copious amounts of hands, all of these can be mixed and matched to your heart's content. In taking a closer look at these color timers, they're both pretty much the same, just with a different color at the center, and while the detail is rather minuscule, it is very, very nice looking. Now, in taking a closer look at the alternate hands, they are very nicely detailed, very nicely sculpted, and as you can see, there's just going to be some standard glove wrinklage on them, which is indeed ultra and show accurate. And I just love how smooth the Zephyrian beam hands look, just so very nice. While these, as I've dubbed the flying hands, are a little bit more wrinkled. I personally believe Tamashii Nations knocked Ultraman Trigger out of the park. And I'm gonna be very spoilery here, but there really isn't anything wrong with this figure when it comes to paint and detail, hell, even articulation. I especially love how Tamashii Nations handled the eyes. They're beautifully textured and look so very show accurate. Even the beam lamp up there is a nice translucent plastic. Turning the figure to the side for a profile shot, you can see those gold trimmings over here with all the nice and lovely details on both sides, and yes, these fins are sharp. Moving a little bit further down to the chest, just look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, on both sides too. I really love the ornate chest piece that Trigger be sporting. No matter the angle, no matter the side, it looks amazing. Although there is a bit of a red paint splooch over here. That's nothing I'd take points off for, because this still looks amazing, as do the wrist gauntlets over here. So simple and so lovely and so effective on both sides. Although this one's missing a little bit of paint over here. I do think the Ultraman Trigger shin guards over here, though, did fare a lot better. They just look fantastic. All of the gold on this figure looks fantastic. Oh yes, I love this little detail as well, something that I missed in my initial run through. I love that they added suit wrinkling detail to the arms over here. I don't know how much more accurate you can get. Oh yeah, and the fists look amazing too. Simply amazing. And I do love where there is separation in different colors, that they're actually molded points on the figure. They're not just simply painted on. I know that's probably a very basic thing for SHFiguarts, but this is only my second figure, and honestly, it's really impressive. The only other detail that you're going to see similar to that is the definition in the Trigger titties over here. The rest of the figure doesn't really have clear muscle definition, although you can see some of that space below the Trigger cheeks over here, even though they're really not all that present. Everything else on this figure is just magnificent. Now, for the most part, the rest of the figure is essentially going to be the same. Granted, it's not going to be entirely the same, but there really isn't any other major details to go over. The details in paint, while simple beyond the gold and silver, are all fantastic. I really, truly can't complain about anything on this figure. Sure, we have some misplaced paint dots here and there, but again, it's nothing that I would wholly take points off for. Now, while paint and detail is only half the game for a figure such as this, I really do have to sing my praises. Tamashii Nations knocked this out of the park, and I'm going to keep saying that throughout this video. Again, very tiny paint flubs here and there, stuff that I didn't even notice until recording just now. But yet again, it's nothing I would take points points off for. This figure is magnificent. So paint and detail are going to get 2 solid stars. Now let's get into accessory application and then we'll move on over into articulation. All you gotta do is grasp and pull. Yeah, that finite pop/snap sound that comes when you take the hands off really gave me a bit of a heart attack when I first took the hands off. So this is the only trouble the figure's actually given me, and that's not essentially a bad thing. It's just that these holes for the hands can be a little on the tight side, giggity. And getting them on can be a bit of a chore, and I didn't have a hard time doing it this time. Great. The only part of this figure that really gives me trouble is getting the color timer off, and I had to loosen it up off screen just so we weren't here for 5,000 hours. But essentially, you want to make sure that these little pegs are facing up like so, not down like so, and then you just match it up with the chest like so, press in, and boom, you have your alternate color timer in place. God, that excess plastic just drives me insane. Now, I do want to make mention that there is a little divot on this side of the color timer, which will help you get your fingernail under it and remove it. But my anxiety-ridden self doesn't have fingernails, so normally I just use a little tool to get under there to change out the color timers, and that's pretty much it. Again, I'd rather not show that on screen because I don't want people yelling at me. So that's it for that long-winded explanation. Let's get into articulation now. We've got a nice ball joint at the neck, which will allow Trigger to look up like so, and down like so, up and down. As you can see over here, this will move into the neck as you pose the head up, which will aid in getting you some very far up looking poses like so. It's a nice little piece of ingenuity that I really enjoy and praise SHFiguarts for nailing. And the head can move on its own like so, but it does take a bit, okay, I'm being turned into a liar again, to really get the head moving on its own. That's not true at all. Just hold the neck a little bit like so and you can move it. It's just fine. But with the help of the ball joint at the neck, you really don't need the head to move separate from the neck. But it is possible. The arms have a wide range of movement. They can go all the way around like so. They have an out and in flapping motion, as well as an extension over here, which I don't know the proper name of. I'm a fake figure reviewer, but it is very helpful in getting the arms to move a bit forward and a bit further out as well. We're gonna get a double bend at the elbow like so. There will also be a swivel at the elbow, a swivel at the wrist like so, and you'll be able to bend in and out depending on where the hinge lies. You can change it to yourself, but I'm not going to take these hands off because I don't want to be recording this for another 2 hours. Gonna get a nice ball joint at the chest over here. Can aid in helping Trigger look back about this far and forward down about that far. Gonna get another at the lower end of the torso and the waist over here. Yet again, helping Trigger look back about this far and then forward about this far. Not too much at this section. And something that I want to point out, to a certain point, Trigger's little dorsal fin on his back does indeed match up and then separate depending on the articulation. I understand that was probably a bit obvious, but I just wanted to cover it. I like that. When it comes to the legs, they can kick up about this far, but a warning to you all. Do be careful with this part hitting the silver of the thigh, because as you can see, I did get a bit of a mark with my first run through of this figure. Honestly, it's not all that noticeable, but I notice it, and I don't want you guys damaging your figures. But anyway, kick up about that far, kick back not too far, which is due to the lack thereof ultra cheeks. The legs can kick out about this far for the ultra splits. We do have a swivel at this portion of the thigh. We've got a double bend at the knee, which is nice and crisp. We have an even crispier point up and down at the foot, which yes, does have the ability to pivot very, very far actually, aiding in some really nice poses. And the toe can point up like so, and then back down to a neutral pose. Can't really go down, although it doesn't really need to. Now, one thing I also want to mention is that there is some rubbery pieces on here. One of those pieces is actually at the shoulder blades over here, which will move along with the arm over here, which will help with poseability so it doesn't get in the way. Do be careful though. Don't pose them too high because this does lift off the figure. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but it does that with mine, and it's done that with mine since I got it out of the box. The tips of the gauntlets over here are also rather on the rubbery side to aid in hand poses. And actually, I do believe that's it for articulation. Moving into poseability! Most of what Trigger can do in the show, he can do here in figure format. From battle poses, flying poses, random as heck poses, Trigger can do it. I really don't have many complaints in terms of articulation and posability. I actually don't have any at all. The figure was a bit stiff out of the box, but after some light play and posing, he fell right into place. Nothing like the issue I had with Shin Ultraman where his arm freaking snapped off. Trigger is nice and solid, and he holds every pose I get him into, with a stand or without. He doesn't scale all too well with the Bandai Ultra Monster 500 series figures, but for some slight shots like these, I think it's just fine. Oh yeah! Paint, detail, articulation, posability, this figure's got it all. SHFiguarts, I've always been really weird with that. I didn't know if I really wanted to take a chance on any of them, but even with Shin Ultraman's issue of his arm breaking the freak off out of the box, he still articulates and looks amazing, and Trigger, honestly, is even better. A solid star for articulation and posability, bringing this guy to essentially 4 stars, technically 3, because articulation and posability kinda in the same realm, but I'm gonna give him 4 solid stars anyway. SH Monster Arts might fail every now and then, but SHFiguarts so far for me hasn't. This makes me so very hopeful for a Trigger Dark SHFiguarts figure, or hopefully even a Chimera, please, please, please. Huzzah! Critically positive Tamashii Nations review from ShinRobjira. Miracles, they happen, 'tis the season. Yeah, I love this thing, and I'm totally going to be getting more. I don't know if I'm going to be getting Power and Sky type, definitely want Trigger Dark though. And even though Sky type is my favorite variant of Trigger, really regretting not getting that Ultraman Tiga. Anyway, patrons, thank you so much for becoming ShinRobjira patrons. I absolutely appreciate that. Social media and merch pages will be linked in the description below. Highly recommend this figure. Get it if you still can. The most I've seen this thing going for is about 60, maybe 67 on Big Bad Toy Store, I think. Don't quote me on that. And I genuinely think it's worth the cashola. So until next time, everybody, do so hope you enjoyed, and yeah, we'll be talking about Godzilla next, so yay. Peace out, everybody.